Hello, I'm Chris Casey.
And I'm Kristen Lagata. Welcome to Arundel County Week in Review. In this episode, we'll take a look at a watershed improvement project in Pasadena and commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Older Americans Act. But first, last week, County Executive Steve Shue presented his budget proposal to the County Council, and this week he took the show on the road. On Wednesday, Shue visited the Seaborg family in Crofton. They explained how the property tax cut in the budget would impact them.
Submitted my budget to the County Council last week, and it does include a 3% cut in the property tax, which I think is really, really important to make it easier for people to live here and work here, start a business here. And a lot of people have asked me, well, why cut the property tax rate instead of cutting income tax rates? And the reason is again, based on my experience in this county over many, many years, I believe that the overtaxation is hitting seniors the hardest.
Yeah.
And that's where we need to focus our tax relief initially, on people who are elderly and or on fixed incomes. Mm-hmm. Those are the people that benefit the most from a property tax cut.
Also included in the budget are plans to jumpstart school construction, build a connected trail network, and accelerate road repairs. The budget also included needed investments in computer technology so we can bring you Week in Review a lot faster. Now, if you missed the budget presentation last week, don't fear. There's many ways to check it out. For now, you can click on the banner at the top of our homepage, www.aacounty.org. But also stay tuned to Arundel TV on Facebook, and we will post the entire program along with the full slide presentation and interviews with folks who attended.
So, Kristen, you're always throwing trivia questions at me, so today is your turn. I'm going to get you back.
Okay, bring it on.
Earlier this week, we celebrated the anniversary of the Older Americans Act.
50 years.
And what president signed that bill into law?
50 years ago, the president who was president 50 years ago.
That signed the bill into law.
Lyndon Johnson?
Yes, but if this was Jeopardy, she would have ran out of time. So.
Who is Lyndon Johnson? Did I get it right?
Yeah.
Yes! I am awesome!
And I believe it was just weeks after he signed one of the civil rights bills, too. Just fun fact.
It was a lovely day. I wore blue.
On Tuesday, May 5th, folks from senior centers all over the county gathered at the Chesapeake Arts Center in Brooklyn Park to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Older Americans Act being signed into law. The morning got off to a lively start with music and some dancing. Those in attendance were then welcomed by Secretary Rona Kramer of the Maryland Department of Aging. Secretary Kramer discussed her role in the Hogan administration, as well as her vision for providing services to older generations moving into the future.
What it is that is the job of the Department of Aging. It is to prevent our seniors from having to live in nursing facilities and provide every type of service that we can to either allow people to age in place, to have assisted living, great social activities, and make life wonderful.
Also that day, Sandy Markwood, CEO of the National Association of Area Agencies on Aging, gave a thorough presentation on the history of the Older Americans Act and its impact on aging today. We caught up with Secretary Rona Kramer and Sandy Markwood after the program, and here's what they had to say.
When we look at our community to make sure that our communities meet the needs of people across the lifespan, and looking at, even if you're not older now, hopefully you will be, and making sure that you advocate for a community that meets the needs of people as they're young, but also as they're old.
We have more to do and more to accomplish with the same number of dollars, and that's going to be tough to do in the future, but it can be done. I think what we need to do is focus on keeping our citizens healthy so that it takes less money to provide the services necessary to keep seniors in the population and at home.
Well, it was a great event for all who attended, regardless of what generation they belonged to. And great work, by the way, to Pam Jordan and all of our staff down at the Anne Arundel County Department of Aging and Disabilities in pulling this day together.
I was actually at the celebration at the Heritage Office Complex, where all the county offices are on Riva Road.
Well, I was at this one up in Brooklyn Park. It was nice.
It was really fun down at Heritage, too. And I have to give kudos to the DJ because he was outstanding.
Well, we had a gentleman, I can't remember his name, I apologize, but he was doing live music, and it was great. Some of the ladies got up and were dancing. I had a couple, throw me some offers, but, made my day. It was
They
fun.
probably would have danced circles around you, Chris.
Probably.
Last week, we told you about the graduates of the BEST program who avoided homelessness and completed an internship in culinary arts. Well, more opportunities are coming. This week, the Annapolis and Anne Arundel County Conference and Visitors Bureau presented a check of $12,500 to the Maryland Tourism Education Foundation to establish a scholarship. Organizers of an event at Rand's Head Tavern in Annapolis challenged others in the community to match the donation and create a scholarship of $25,000 for hospitality workers of the future. If you want to join in on the party and find out more about this scholarship, go to www.visitannapolis.org.
You ready for prom, Kristen?
Well, I haven't picked my dress out yet, Chris, but I'm very excited.
I'm sure you are. Well, for most high schoolers in the county, high school seniors, prom season's here. And with that in mind, we're going to be talking with Sandy Smolnicky and Sherry Medley when we get back about the Parents Who Host Lose the Most campaign on how you can help keep your community and your kids safe. Take a look at our community calendar for events going on around town, but don't go away, we'll be right back.
They're coming. Places, everybody.
Light check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Everything looks good on our end.
And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Welcome back. We're delighted to have on the show with us today Sandy Smolnicky and Sherry Medley with the Department of Health and WASP, respectively. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on.
Yes, and we first wanted to go into what divisions you actually work for with the Department of Health, what your role is there, and what WASP stands for and your role with WASP.
Well, I work with substance abuse prevention, and my main role is to support the community coalitions as they work in their work in the communities. So we provide them with coaching and data, information, techniques, research on evidence-based practices, and I spend a lot of time in the community. It's great fun.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And I am the Executive Director for Hands of Hope, and I am also the coordinator for WASP, which stands for Western Anne Arundel County Substance Abuse Prevention Coalition. And we are based in that of Odenton. We have our meetings at the Western Police Department the fourth Friday of each month at 12 o'clock noon, and we would like for anyone who would come to come. We are doing great things there, and we really is doing a lot with that of alcohol prevention among youth, alcohol crashes, as well as binge drinking. And we are moving into that of substance abuse as well.
And now folks out there understand why I asked for Sherry to explain what WASP stands for, because I can't remember all of that. Fantastic, though. Ladies, thank you both for your work in our community. Today, specifically, we're talking about Parents Who Host Lose the Most. Talk to us about this campaign and what your efforts are and what you're trying to accomplish.
Well, Parents Who Host Lose the Most is a campaign to target parents' awareness and increase their awareness about the effects of alcohol on youth. The theory behind it is that in the old days, we didn't really know a whole lot, but we are a lot smarter now. We have a lot more data. We have a lot more research. And we don't have that excuse anymore. We don't get to just go ahead and serve alcohol and let our youth do that anymore. Statistics show that if you have a drink of alcohol before the age of 15 or at the age of 15, that you will have alcohol problems later in life. Statistics also show that the brain is not fully developed before the age of 25, so anything that you pour into your brain before that time is going to affect the cerebral cortex, and so you'll have some unfortunate consequences.
Right.
You may have unintentional injuries. You may get behind a wheel of a car that you don't really know how to drive to begin with, and you may have set yourself on a road where your brain chemistry is set up to use worse drugs, worse and more dangerous drugs. So the campaign is to encourage parents to pay attention to what alcohol can do to the developing brain, and then to stop serving alcohol at parties if they are, to get to know their children's friends, to get to know their parents, and also to understand that if alcohol is served at a party, and if they have furnished it or if they have obtained it in any way, they can be criminally charged in our county, here in our state, with a fine of $2,500.
Right. So if you have to boil it down in one sentence, Parents Who Host Lose the Most is out there to try to educate parents and warn everyone about the dangers of youth drinking and prevent it. What are some strategies you guys use to drive that message home and get that out there?
I think one of the strategies we're doing is, well, we was able to receive a grant from the State Highway Administration, and what we did was we was able to purchase banners as well as information cards, stickers, DVD, posters, and flyers. And what we're doing is we're going into the community, we're going to other organizations, we're going to doctor's office, dentist's office, churches,
businesses.
We are going into every place that we can, the liquor stores, to give them some of this information. This information is free. We have the information, we have all the items that if anybody want any of it, they can contact us and we'll give it to them. We have table tent tops. We just have so much information out there. If you're having an event or if you're a vendor, if you want some of this information, we have this information because we want the community to truly understand the importance of knowing that underage drinking is a problem. And a lot of times parents are not aware that children are drinking in their homes, so they have to understand that you are liable for this.
Right.
Absolutely, and I think you just nailed it right there. People might not know it's going on, and then there's a lot of parents out there, and I'm seeing this as a growing trend, that say it's all right as long as you're doing it on the house under my watch. And really, that's not okay.
It's
either.
not okay.
For a lot of the reasons that you mentioned about, being the age of 15 or having a drink before the age of 15 leads to a lot of harmful consequences in the future.
Yeah. Well, it's not okay also for you to serve other children.
Right.
So you can give your child if you'd like, but if you give other young people drinks, that is not okay. I mean, it could react with a medication that you don't know that they're taking. They may drive away.
Yeah.
There are a lot of unforeseen circumstances that could occur with that I wouldn't want to be liable for.
And just to clarify the state law, so you can give an alcoholic beverage to your own child in your own home.
Correct.
But if you give alcoholic beverage to any other children in your home, what's that fine you were telling earlier?
$2,500,
Yeah, so
and it's a criminal fine.
That's pretty hefty.
Yes.
Yes.
So this is just great that you're getting all this information out there through the help of the state grant and all that. What advice do you have for parents that we're going into prom season? I know Chesapeake High School, where I went, has their prom coming up this weekend. I think my little brother's going. Whole nother story. But anyway, how can parents keep their kids safe? How can community members make sure that their communities are safe?
Well, I think first of all, you have to talk to your kids about alcohol. And that if you are drinking alcohol, these are some of the things that can happen whether you know it or not. Basically, 3 out of 4 youth are not drinking. It's the minority who are drinking. So we all can have a terrific time without that until we turn of age. So the first thing you have to do is talk to them about the problem, open the dialogue. The second thing is if you do have alcohol in your home, I would say monitor your liquor supply.
Yes, definitely.
Count your liquor, or however much you have in your home, just like you would maybe now your medications. Make sure you know what's there. Make sure you know who's coming in your house, and count it again. Again, about half of our youth are getting alcohol from homes.
So stay vigilant and don't ignore the warning signs.
Right.
And is there a hotline that folks can call if they suspect a drinking party is going on, underage participants?
Yes, we do have a tip line.
Yes, we do.
And we'll throw it up there on the
Thank
screen.
you.
No worries about that.
Yes.
And you also have a website that's coming out too, right?
Thank you. We do have a website. It's preventsubstanceabuse.org. And it's going to be a fabulous resource. It tells you all about the coalitions. You can look up any drug that you might be curious about or that you might find in your home and not know what it is. You can click on it and get drug facts, and send us questions and communicate with us through our website.
And specifically to parents who host Lose the Most, that campaign information can also be found on your websites?
Yes, it can.
So,
Yes, it
and
can.
we'll gladly show those websites on the screen now too, so that people can get more information about this. We mentioned communication. Having that conversation with alcohol and a number of other subjects is always important with your children at this age. Any effective ways that you have found for parents to communicate with their children, either website imagery using video, anything that you've come across that you have found to be really effective in reaching out to teenagers?
I think one of the best ways to talk to your teenagers is to be honest with them.
Just honest.
Just honest. I think the more honest you are with your children, and the more you are open with them, the more they are able to come to you. I am sort of like old school. It is, it takes a village to raise a child, and it really is, because we have got to get back to when you're seeing something wrong, to go to the parent. And a lot of time we have a habit of turning the other way when we see things. So we have to realize that your child is my child is your child. If you see it, go to the parent, report it, just don't let it continue on. Prom season is coming, graduation parties are coming. If you see something that's wrong, you have to realize when this child leaves, if they are drunk, what would you want to be on the road with them? Would you want your child to get in an accident?
And do you want that on your shoulders?
Yeah, would you want that even on your shoulders? So we as parents and as adults have to take responsibility, not just for our child, but for the child next door, for your neighbor's child. We have to be vigilant and have our eyes open.
Absolutely. Well, again, another topic of conversation for Week in Review, where the key here is communication. Communication with your children, communication with the shop owners, communication with the schools, who I'm sure are welcoming you with open arms right now, especially with prom season around the corner. Ladies, thank you so much for coming in today and talking about this important topic. Parents who host Lose the Most, get more information from the websites, and the tip line, of course, is always available to you. We want to thank you again for being on the program.
Thank you very much.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Week in Review.
Not too long ago, I made a big mistake. I let our teenage daughter have a drinking party at the house. I thought it was the right thing to do. I thought it would be safer if they drank here. And I'm embarrassed to say I thought we might be the cool parents. I didn't know it was illegal to allow teenagers to drink alcohol in our home, that we could be prosecuted, fined, even jailed. And we were. And that wasn't cool.
Welcome back. With more than 500 miles of shoreline in Anne Arundel County, it goes without saying how important our Watershed Steward projects are. Our very own Sara Gannon was in Pasadena earlier this week with Master Watershed Steward Jeff Reagan to see his most recent project. Sara?
Thanks, guys, in the studio. I'm here today with Jeff Reagan, Master Watershed Steward in Pasadena. Jeff, thanks for meeting me today. Yep. Can you tell me what a Watershed Steward does and what it is and how you become a Watershed Steward?
That's a lot. Well, I guess first, define what is a watershed, and what is a watershed, and we use that term a lot. So what a watershed is, if you look around, it's a drainage area where all the water that lands onto the rain hits the land, and it drains into a particular point of interest or a stream or a river. A steward or stewardship, it's a little bit more complicated because we use that word a lot, but it's really the careful and responsible management and protection of something entrusted to one's care.
It's guardian.
Yes, so we're stewards of the watershed. So the Watershed Stewards Academy is about reaching out to these, I guess, people in the community. Leaders in the community will go out and recruit and train and educate people about reducing stormwater pollution, doing some practices in their in their neighborhoods that will actually have a benefit to water quality.
Now, how do they take a class, and where do they go to take those classes?
Yes, there are classes. It runs yearly, so they'll start up again in the fall. October is usually when the classes begin.
Okay.
So they'll start recruiting and accepting applications late summer, probably late summer, early fall.
Okay.
And so they'll start in October, and then they'll take weekly classes. It's a formal classroom setting. You get hands-on training. They'll teach you all the things that you need to go out and assess a site, to look at the drainage patterns. A little bit of computer desktop work with GIS, which is a geographic information system. Okay. They do some field training. So you'll actually train from October through like March into the spring. Okay. You'll do some of your field days, and then you finalize it with a capstone project. Okay. So they also teach you a little bit about the grant writing process, how to go out and obtain funding, identify projects, and then you install your capstone. Once your capstone is done, you graduate. And then they have the graduation ceremony will be the following December. Okay. So from the first day of class to the day of graduation could be 14 months. It can be intensive at times, and then sometimes it's fun, but you have some downtime. But it's very rewarding.
Very good. I have to ask this: is there homework?
Yes, there is homework, but it's not hard, and it's so interesting though. So you don't even think of it as homework because it's something that you're going to be interested in and learning about. You'll learn about native plants and invasive plants, how to recognize trees, how to look at a drainage area, how to capture that stormwater, design a rain garden, put in rain barrels. So it really is cool.
Oh, very good. Now, can you tell us about some projects that you've done or any?
Well, this is my own capstone project. This here is a site. I wanted to get involved with the Watershed Stewards Academy, and I missed the 1 year. 1 year I wanted to go through it, and I missed it, and for a whole year I regretted it. I couldn't wait until the following year to apply. So all that time I had this idea of what I wanted to do because I live across the street from this awesome vernal pool. So I wanted to do a project here, and in my community, this was kind of maybe saw as an eyesore, kind of the swamp. It collected a lot of trash. There was a lot of invasive plants in here, and the mosquitoes everybody complained about. So it was kind of thought of maybe as a dirty swamp. Okay. Really what it is an awesome functioning microhabitat. So I wanted to come in here and do a little bit of community outreach and education, do a little bit of restoration. It was already functioning, so I didn't really have to create it. All I had to do was kind of enhance it. So we came in, we had about 42 volunteers come out, and we picked up trash, pulled invasives, put in, I forget the exact number, but we had about $2,000 worth of native plants that we came and put in. So we've got some ferns back here and some wood sedge and switchgrass. Up in the corner over there we have Girl Scout Troop 5964 came in and put in a butterfly garden. Oh, wow. So we have a monarch way station over there.
Now,
so it's really
where's
awesome.
That troop from?
Pasadena. Jacobsville Elementary is where they meet. So
Very
Troop
good.
5964. Thank you, Girl Scouts.
Thank you. Yep.
So anyway, Vernal Pool really it's an awesome place because we have it's a little micro habitat. It's a breeding area for amphibians. We have frogs and salamanders that come in here. We've got earlier I saw wood ducks, and we get fox and all kinds. It's just a little forest area. It's awesome.
Well, do you have any future projects coming up?
Personally, I don't have anything scheduled for myself. There are a lot of different groups that are doing things. Magathie River Association is one that just got a grant for a water trail, so I know they're looking for people to do some stuff. They're also looking for volunteers for an SAV survey, which is submerged aquatic vegetation. We need volunteers to go out and paddle and canoe around the Magathie. Restore Rock Creek is one that's doing some water quality monitoring, and they're always looking for volunteers. Another one in the North County area is Arundel Patapsco River Alliance, or APRA. They're always looking for volunteers to do some projects and outreach. There are so many groups out there that are doing great things, and it's just a matter of kind of tapping into that and finding out where they are.
Getting the exposure and awareness of all the folks that are doing all these great things.
And the Watershed Stewards Academy for me was really that portal of finding out where these groups are and who they are. And then once you kind of tap that vein, it's unlimited, all the things that are happening. And the people, the camaraderie of working with these people is fantastic.
That's right. Now, can you give folks an email, not an email, but a website where they can go in and see where, how to become a watershed steward?
Well, the Anne Arundel County Watershed Stewards Academy does have their own website. You can Google search that. I think aawsa.org is their website address. They have a Facebook page. All these groups have websites and Facebook pages. So I would look Anne Arundel County Watershed Stewards Academy. They are the greatest model as far as how to organize and get people committed to doing things in the community. All these other counties around us have kind of similar things that they've put together, but the one in Anne Arundel County is by far, they're the model. And I'm hoping, they're getting a little bit of support from Anne Arundel County now. They're part of that outreach and education piece of the county for their watershed implementation plan. So we're really proud of the work they're doing.
Well, we are too, and thank you very much, Jeff. And back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Sarah. Jeff also wanted us to give a big thank you to the Chesapeake Bay Trust for their support of this project and Watershed Steward Academy projects all across the county. Their contributions to improving water quality in Anne Arundel County cannot be understated.
It's interesting how many different projects there are to help, stormwater infiltration and all that kind of stuff to eliminate runoff.
And this is the time of year to be getting a lot of that these projects underway because we've got the weather for it. So it's been.
Well, something I'm excited about is there's a Steak and Shake coming to Maryland. The first one ever is opening up in Millersville.
Watershed Steward projects into Steak and Shake. Go on.
Well, we're talking about things that get you excited. We're talking about spring.
We see what motivates you.
But yeah, food, absolutely.
What's a Steak and Shake?
It's a big franchise down in Florida and down the South, and used to love their burgers and shakes and all that. But they're coming to Millersville, opening up in June.
So their flagship location around here is Millersville.
Yes, absolutely.
That is so interesting. And do we know where it's at? Are we going to the opening? I think Week in Review should send us. Well, I think it's only proper since we mentioned it.
Obviously, I'll be
there. We might have you do a field report.
Maybe.
Steak and Shake in hand.
Give you an update.
Is it a steak sandwich or steak on a plate?
It's burgers. They're like steak burgers. So
burgers.
They're really good. It's fast food, but it's awesome fast food.
Oh, okay.
Love it.
All right.
What's your favorite fast food?
My favorite fast food? Well, things that get me excited right now. The frozen lemonade at Chick-fil-A is awesome. It's amazing. If you haven't gotten one, go.
Okay.
After this, go. After we record.
We gotta wait? Okay.
Yeah, don't lose the microphone yet.
Leave you here.
No, it is phenomenal. I like Chick-fil-A. I like their chicken wraps. I like to kid myself that it's a healthy fast food.
I hear that a lot, surprisingly.
But I do like their frozen lemonade. It's really good.
Yeah.
So we had Sandy and we had
Sherry.
Sandy and Sherry on the show today, which was lovely. Sherry's such a sweet. They're both sweethearts.
Oh my gosh, so passionate too.
Very passionate. And Sunday is Mother's Day.
It is.
And talking to these ladies, especially about prom season, I really want to give a big happy Mother's Day to my mom and just say thank you to her for keeping me in line growing up, because I hear about some really big horror stories with teenagers these days. Yeah. And all I can think of is if I had tried to pull any of that nonsense. My mom would have whooped my butt.
She brought you in this world. She can take you out,
She can
right?
take you out. Don't forget that about your mother.
Yeah, well, I gotta say Happy Mother's Day to my mom,
Good.
my grandmother, and my other grandmother, and all the women in my life.
Yeah,
You
oh,
didn't-
good, cool.
Kristen Lagana, I know you're not a mother yet, but
Not yet.
she takes care of me on the show, trust me.
One day.
If it wasn't,
do take care
You
of
you do. I'd be a mess if it wasn't for you. So thank you, too.
Thank you. And yes, all the other women in my life, too. Happy Mother's Day.
Now you can't say I've never said anything nice to you. Well, that wraps up. Well, that wraps up this week's edition of Week in Review. You can watch this episode and archived episodes online anytime on Facebook, YouTube, or Google Plus by searching Arundel TV. I can't stop laughing, Kristen. But please tune in again next week for more highlights and news from around the county, along as Kristen and I's shenanigans. We'll see you next time.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.